Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 on Calmsden Farm. So we are now in January and all the build that I was doing in the last episode has all been completed. So we'll show you that off pretty much straight away so you can get a good idea of what I've done. But there is a few things that I do want to get pretty much started on, which is the slurry spreading and manure spreading. And the reason for that is we are building up quite fast. I've also got quite a lot of digestate as well sitting at the farm because I have added in a storage point, which is something I did mention that I wanted to try and do, so I'm glad we ended up doing that. So let's just pull over here and I can actually show you what I did at the end. Right, so you can probably notice it on the left hand side, everything is pretty much changed. I've put in 3 sheds here, storage sheds. I'm going to be putting probably straw. I've got hay there, and then this will be like an overflow. It is a good space, a good storage area, so I'm happy about that. I've also put in a silo with some lime. So this, I actually bought 100,000 litres of lime. I've used quite a bit, to be honest, because I was making sure that field 2 and field 3 has got lime. So we just check the pH levels on that. You can see that that's all spot on. So all the fields now are pretty much spot on for pH, which is great news because that was a big job. In all fairness though, I did use Courseplay and I set it up with Autodrive to come and fill up from this point. So it's nice to have this at the farm because it's not too far of a distance from all the fields. And with having Autodrive as well, every time that he got empty on the course, he'd automatically go and fill up again and carry on. So that was pretty handy. So on the left hand side over here, this is going to be like a storage area for bales. So it's a bale pad. All the bales that I did take to the biogas plant have all processed. We've got quite a lot of digestate from that and also quite a lot of money. So we're going to take another load in this episode because of the fact that I've got quite a lot and we're going to be doing more silage anyway. So it makes sense to try and get some more in the biogas plant because it's just sitting there. So we may as well use it. So another thing that I added in was this, which is my digestate liquid manure tank. So I'm just going to put digestate in this just so it's close to the farm, and again if we wanted to do it within a course plate we can set auto drive up to just drive in front of this and fill up from there. So I have set that all up so if I do need to use that I can, but it's nice to just have this storage point and it doesn't take up much space as well. It's kind of like a tank under the ground, but as you can see I've got 36,000 litres of digestate, and I think as well we've got about 50 odd thousand litres of slurry. We have 58,000 litres of slurry. Now it is important to know that if this maxes out, the cows will stop producing milk. So it really is important to try and get your slurry, just keep using it, keep putting it on the fields, because if it maxes out, you're going to either have to use it quickly or sell it at the biogas plant or something. Because it will just hinder you, especially if you're doing a dairy farm. We have got quite a lot of milk as well to sell, and we've got quite a lot of wool as well. I know it doesn't show here, but in the fields I've bought a new low loader that's perfect for putting in the pellets. It's not auto load, so I have been placing them on, but I'm going to try and stack them up until about April time because that is when the perfect price we get, so it makes sense to just hold back on that. So let's have a proper look at this building then. So as you can see, I've got a nice big kind of UK style shed over here. It's got some storage at the front, so I've been parking the feed mixer. I've also put the weeder here just because we were using it in this field. But yeah, you can see I've also put the weather station on the top so we get more accurate weather, and you can probably hear it now. It's got like its own sounds, custom sounds to it. So that does help, and I thought I'd just stick that on top. But I do like the fact that I've got more space now here for equipment. And then just on the corner here, I've added another storage shed, just a small one, a bit like where we've put the bales, and this is going to be for like solid fertilizer. Anything like big bags can go here. It's a nice little area that encroaches into the field a little bit, so that does look pretty good. And as you can tell, I've kind of fenced off the area, and I do like how this shed comes with all this. It was just perfectly just fit perfectly around this edge, so I've kind of fenced that off as well, but I am happy with how it's turned out. We've got a lot more storage area, and it looks a little bit better for a more modern farm. I think if you were trying to do an upgrade, then this is probably the way I would have gone anyway within the game. So in here, it's just a nice open storage area. I mean, if we ever do root crops, this would be perfect to dump in here. We can put bales in here, anything really. But currently, I've just got the telehandler sitting in here. So yeah, pretty happy with it. I hope you agree that this is pretty cool. I was going to try and get some kind of feed mixer, but they were all just a bit too bulky. A static feed mixer for TMR. Yeah, they were all too bulky, so I decided this way. I've got quite a lot of open space to kind of maneuver around with vehicles. I can easily get in and out here to get bales, and obviously I can move the feed mixer in a nice open area when we need that as well. So overall, pretty happy with how it's turned out. So, like I said, in this episode we're going to be doing mainly slurry and manure. We're going to get that on the fields just to try and bring the nitrogen levels on the pH up, because on the grass fields they are quite poor. I mean, 35, this one, and this big one here are just completely depleted. Field 6 I'm going to leave until it's at the right time. We're going to go over it with liquid fertilizer and just bring it up to the required levels. And field 3 and 2 combined we don't even need to worry about, with it being soybeans that we're going to plant in April time. I did go into field 31 and field 15 and just spread some solid fert just to bring the levels up. We're not going to be doing anything with these fields. We've got the animals in. As soon as I get the money to buy a direct seeder, we will then replant all this and start again just to try and bring them levels up on the environmental score. But right now I think it's just good just to keep it like that. So if we ever do mow it, we should get a good nitrogen level eventually after we mow it. But yeah, definitely need to do some slurry. Got to bring them levels down. Got a lot of digestate as well sitting there. And I think the best way to do it is just use all the slurry up, and then when we need to top up and we're running low on slurry, we've always got the digestate at hand. So yeah, let's get these bales sold first, and then we'll go and do some slurry spreading. I do want to swap out the slurry spreader. I really like this high spec one, but it's just a little bit too small for the fields we've got. Now 4D Modding is actually working right now on a bigger version of these high spec slurry spreaders, and it actually comes with an injector or a dribble bar. I think it's one or the other, and yeah, it'll suit this farm perfectly. But until we can obviously get our hands on that, we're going to have to just probably swap this out and replace it with something else, and then as soon as that mod's available we can switch back. But let's first, like I said, get this sorted out. Let's just park up the manure spreader. The one issue I have with using the manure spreader to spread lime, even as good as it is and as useful it is, it's like a 2-in-1. It does help having the 2-in-1 feature, but the only problem I've found is you can't get rid of the lime inside it, so you can't tip it, and you can't empty it out, so we'd have to lose it by just completely wiping it off, and then we can obviously put manure in. But luckily at the moment we've only got 11,000 litres of manure, so it's not too bad. But ideally you'd want to be able to have that free anyway, so I don't know what we're going to do with that. I'll have to try and figure it out. Now luckily, because of where the crop is, we're not going to do any crop damage. We can just drive over the field, and then we're going to try and spawn some of these in. I haven't got a clue why they're like that. It's a bit strange. There we go, that's a bit better. So let's try and see if we can get some more on here. Take a full load to the biogas plant, let them process through, and then I think it's happy days. There we go. So let's drive the long way round. Why not? Shouldn't take too long. Right, so here we are. Let's drop these 22 bales off. Takes a bit of time to process, but it's nice to have the regular source of income, I'll be honest. Never mind the digestate. Right, so again we can just drop these in. I think we put probably about there. Should be fine. There we go. So that'll be processing now if we just activate it again. There we go. So silage and activate, job done. Full up. Right, so while that's on its way, I just want to point out that I have brought in a nice slurry tanker that can bring down our digestate. Now, this isn't something we own technically. The way I'm going to do it is I'll charge myself a fee. I'll use AutoDrive to send this to, obviously, my digestate tank. It will fill up automatically, send it, drop it off, and then we'll obviously be bringing back our own digestate, but we'll pay like a £500 fee every time we want to do it, something like that, along them lines. It just helps us out then, because we don't really need a tank of that size. There's no point in us purchasing one, so let's try and be a little bit more realistic and hire someone to do a job like you probably would do anyway. But it is nice to have that option. What I want to do here is I do want to quickly, I don't think I'm hooked up to that. Oh, I am. There we go. I want to actually bring down the class, and we're going to hook the slurry tanker up to this when we replace it. And the reason is, out of all my tractors currently, this is the only one that supports to have a scanner on the wing mirrors for precision farming. And that's just because obviously this is a base game tractor, whereas the other ones are modded tractors and they haven't had the scanners added to the mod yet. I'm sure we'll see a lot of updates coming soon to tractors where that'll be added, but currently this is the only one we can do it. Now I'm thinking we may as well try and just go around scanning the fields, just because it probably won't have too much impact at the start, unless we're obviously scanning at the right time when there's enough leaves for the crop, for example. But it is good to do, because we technically might be able to keep everything a little bit more up to date as we go through. So I think that makes more sense. I mean, we could buy the proper scanner and have it on the front, but I kind of prefer the look of the one that's on the wing mirrors. I think it's less, yeah, it's just less bulky and less in your face, whereas it kind of hides away well. Obviously they can't be used at night, so they can only be used in the day, but that shouldn't be an issue because I don't really do much nighttime farming in my series, so I don't think we need to worry about that. But anyway, let's get down to the shop. I'm going to sell this. I'm going to replace it for something that's a little bit wider, hopefully holds a little bit more, and yeah, it should work a lot better because we have got quite a lot of slurry that we need to start shifting. Alright, so there we go. What we're going to first do is we're going to try and just back this up and see if we can sell it from that point. I'm hoping we can, and then I'm also going to try and obviously modify this tractor at the same time. Now, money-wise, we're actually sitting pretty well at 87,000. The reason for that is we made a hell of a lot of money from the silage that we first put in. Now, everything that I did on the farm, so the farm upgrade to the cow farm, that was all done from a loan. So I actually got £120,000 debt at the moment currently, and that was just because we obviously modified the yard. So we're going to have to pay that off at some point. But with the milk we've got, the silage we've got, obviously it's being processed right now in the biogas plant, we can afford to sell this and buy a better version of the slurry tanker. We can also afford to do what I want to do now, which is get that 15,000 pretty much. So this detects the real nitrogen demand of your crops while driving with the sensor over the field. I have seen a few comments of people saying the scanners work for lime and they're more precise, but I don't think they do, in all fairness. I think personally that these scanners are mainly for nitrogen levels in the field as the crop has grown. So you have to wait for, obviously, for the leaves to be there, so it needs to be a certain age, usually around springtime, just before the harvest. Is the best time to do it because you've got enough information from the crop itself for it to actually go across with its infrared scanners, scan the crop and see if there's any nitrogen deficiencies. That's pretty much the way it works. In real life they're called NIR systems. You can have handheld devices. A lot of the time now farmers do it with their silage, and they actually scan their silage a lot with NIR just because they can have a result there and then on the spot just to check that it's at the right level. A lot of the time they're looking for things like sugar in it. Yeah, a load of things really, but I like the fact that Farming Simulator are trying to implement it as if you can scan as you're driving, which would be quite difficult, to be honest. You'd have to stop, take a sample of the soil, probably check the nitrogen levels that way. You'd also be looking for any minerals apart from nitrogen. There'd be a lot more like phosphorus, potassium, depending on what crop you were growing. But I do like the fact that we're going in this direction anyway, so hopefully this will come in use because we can use this tractor. We can focus on using this tractor quite a bit. And it does save us getting the actual scanner. So that's that done. As you can see, they're there on the wing mirror, and we've just spent a bit of money. We can attach that back up. But what we want to do now is we want to actually sell this. Now, if we repair it for £1, doesn't really change the difference. There used to be such a difference when you actually repaired it. Now, if I repaint it, I wonder if it does change the price. So let's see if we repaint this for 182. 15,203 currently. So not really that much difference. It doesn't really benefit us at all to repair and repaint. It really doesn't. But anyway, let's just sell it. 15,400 kind of brings us back up from buying the scanner on that, which helps. So I think it's time for us to pick a slurry tanker, something that will obviously make things a little bit easier. Now, I have been looking through these and trying to pick one. Now, I'm thinking of just getting an all-in-one kind of system. I know you can get these with the attachments on the back, and then obviously you can find the combinations and stuff. But it kind of works out better if we're not going to keep this for too long, just to get like an all-in-one. And I've seen a couple of them. There's these two, for example, both for 77,500. This one holds a little bit more. This holds 15,800 litres, which is pretty much, well, it's nearly 6,000 more than what we were, well, in fact, it's probably about 5,000 more than what we were currently holding in the high spec. It's got a 12 metre, whereas it's got 15. So I think, personally, for the same price, I'd rather have a bigger spread than an extra 300 litres, to be honest. So I'm going to get the Farm Tech. I think this will work perfectly. It's a 165 horsepower requirement. Easily can be done by this 295 horsepower class. So let's get it. Now, we can get the John Deere manure sensing on this, and I think it's worth doing because we are trying to maximise our score. Now, we are going to be spending here 88,400. We currently haven't even got that. So what I'm going to have to do first, which I'll quickly just do, is go and sell the milk, because this is going to be worth an investment. I will quickly just look to see, because you never know if it's in here. I mean, if it's in here, we've hit the jackpot. I mean, that is 75, but we want the sensor on it, so that'd be a lot more. I don't think we've hit the jackpot, in all fairness. No. So I'll go sell the milk, get that done quickly, and then I'll jump back in and we'll finish off, and we'll definitely upgrade and get this slurry spreader because it looks really nice. So there she is, the Farm Tech, and I think it's called Condor 15. 15 obviously refers to the size, the spread on it. I would like it to be proper UK style with it being on Calmsden. I am trying to keep things something you probably see in the UK, so that's the only downside, but I am looking forward to 4D's mod coming out. Definitely go check his Facebook page for updates, but it is on there. He's released some information on it, and it's pretty much just a massive version of the high spec that we already had. So it's all filled up. I've put 15,500 litres in, and I have also just checked the course, because I will be doing probably 2 fields at least in this video. Obviously I'm going to do 3, but I'll do a 3rd video in between this video and the next. But I want to do a small montage, and I also want to get hands on and do 1 field myself. So I've just been testing this out just to see if this loop still works with this slurry tank. Now it should do, because there isn't much difference, and as you can see, the turn is still pretty spot on. So all we need to make sure we do is have a field waypoint ready, and yeah, we can crack on. So let's go and do one of these 3 fields. We'll probably start off, I'd say, with, well, first thing we don't want to do is drive into the fence. That's the first thing. But yeah, this is the low loader. So as you can see, I've got 2 more pallets sitting over here ready to stack up, but we've got quite a lot. Really, I've got quite a lot on here. We have a quick look. 19,000 litres, so that'll be 21,000 litres. And if you can see, I'll start her up and then I'll show you what it does. Obviously not the front weight. There we go. So we can obviously lift it up just like that. The wheels come under, and it's nice to transport around. Works perfectly fine. But the good thing about it, like I said, is it just drops down really do love this Massey. This mod, this pack of Massey Fergusons by AMG, absolutely outstanding mod. It really is. So, and there you go. Drop it back down. Easy access. And obviously we can use it for a couple of things, but I think it's just perfect for the wool. Definitely. Right, let's get on with this, because this is obviously going on now, this episode, and I don't want it to drag on. I did intend it to be a bit of an odd one. It was never going to be a really productive episode, because I was mainly showing off the bits that I've changed on the farm. But I also thought, let's get this slurry sorted out, because I enjoy doing slurry. I really do. So, if we turn it on and drop it, it's going to be difficult. Oh, we can just make that out. That's pretty good, actually. I thought it was going to be difficult to make out, but we're alright. And then we'll start going around the field. It is applying... It's not applying loads, so we should be good, but you can see that it is applying quite a bit. I mean, it's easy to do this as the field's just been mowed, but I've gone through the winter months, basically. And, yeah, I'm a little bit off that. I have figured out as well that originally, like in FS19, with slurry spreading or manure, you'd only ever go up to around halfway point. And then, I'm pretty certain on this, but I might be wrong. But my memory, if I can recall properly, is you'd then need to use like solid or liquid fertilizer to top it up to the target. So say it needed to be 200, you'd go in the field, usually it was about like halfway. With slurry or with manure. And then, like I said, you'd have to use a solid fertilizer or a liquid fertilizer to get it up to the finish point, let's say. Now, the same kind of applies. As you can see, I'm only ever doing that first layer. Now, with FS22 standard before precision farming, you could do a double application on slurry. You can't do that at the moment. But what you can do is wait. So you can wait for it to go to the next growth stage, for example, if you're doing a crop, and then go over it again with slurry, and what you'll find is it works a treat. You can actually get another layer. So I'm nearly done. Tiny little bit left in this corner over here in a minute. And I've got 12%, so I think this is going to last out. Don't want to miss a bit on the right hand side. I think I might be going a little bit too far to the left. Just about, I am. I think I might get away with it. There we go. Now what I will be doing is I'll show you how I set up the course plate to refill the slurry tanker. I know it looks there on the ground that I've missed some, but as you can see, it's not too bad. It's just this little corner over here. So I think we're all right. Yeah, but I'll definitely show you how I will go about. I just ran out. Can you believe it? So the best thing for us to do is go and refill, finish that little bit off, and then I'll show you how to set up the course. First thing we need to do is make a nice point in the middle, and it can be at the edge of the field, but because of the way it's shaped, though, I don't want the tractor driving through a hedge, so I think if we put it here, it can actually get to this point from all four corners of the field. And that's all we're going to call it. That'll be fine. Field 4. Job done. So that's that now sorted out. So then the next thing we need to do, because it's all linked up, we don't have any issues, hopefully, fingers crossed, for it to get to the slurry pit, we need to then set up a course on here called load. And this is what load's for. So we're going to change this waypoint here to the field, but because it's new, it'll be in default. Then we're going to change this one to our cow farm, and then we should have slurry fill. We want to change that to slurry. We want to turn off that, and then I'm going to set up a course plate now. So we're going to go to no course. Right, so what I've just done is gone into course plate settings, and in this here, there's an option called prefer custom fields, and I've activated it. It's to see if I can actually select this boundary a little bit easier. So as you can see, it's already selected the whole thing. How easy is that? That makes a massive difference, and I haven't actually placed down any of these, and it's already selected it. So that is great news. So now we can start this again, and we can do our normal 2 headlands, 12%, bring it into probably a 0.4. So I'll just let him carry on. I'll let him get empty, and then we'll follow with him just to show you how it works when he's just about to empty and what he's going to do. Right, so he's emptied out, and as you can see, it does say that the worker's stopped working unexpectedly, tank is empty. But now what will happen on his own, as you can tell, is he's now activated auto drive. He's going to go down to the waypoint that we put down here, swing it around, and he's going to head by himself all the way over to the slurry pit and fill back up. Dead useful, really useful. And hopefully along the route we won't have any issues. So I hope all the gates are open. I mean, I don't think there's this one gate down here, but I think that's fine. And this is probably about the same size as the trailer that I set up this course on originally anyway. Right, so he's just got here, the worker has, and he's about to fill up, and we'll loop back round and head back to the field. So it seems like it's working a treat so far. Yep, so that worked a treat. So as you can tell, you can hear it filling up. But on his way he goes, so he'll carry on. And yeah, if you're doing this, I suggest keeping all your gates open. Right, so welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed the montage. That is the whole field done. Now I have to say, I absolutely rinsed through the slurry. Rinsed through it. The 50,000 litres that I had just went so quick, but I did notice as well that when I changed the fill point to the digestate, that kind of lasted longer, so it seems like it has more value. It seemed that way anyway. I had 36,000 I think it was of digestate. If we just click this, I wonder if it comes up as 2. Slurry, no, it's the same. But no, if we have a quick look at the animals, you can see that I've got pretty much nothing. If we do go into this and look at digestate, I used the 30,000 up, and I feel like I got a lot more bang for that kind of for the buck, basically. It did work a lot easier. But overall, pretty good going. We've got 2 fields done, ran out of digestate and pretty much ran out of slurry. Got a bit of manure left to do that final field. Yeah, but hopefully we will start processing through some of the silage at the biogas, which will give us more digestate, at least to finish it off. We are definitely going to be using solid fertilizer though to top them grass fields up before we mow them again. I feel like one of the tyres is burst on that. Bit strange. Anyway, so I'll just park this up over here until we get a bit more, until we get at least some more digestate or slurry. As you can see, 5,000. It's getting empty. I wonder what's going on with this. Is there any reason why that would be like that? Can anyone tell me? It's like it sank in the ground. It looked like one of the tyres had popped. I don't know. So as you can see, we've done quite a bit. We've got a lot of slurry down on the ground. We shifted it all, so we're definitely empty now. We weren't full, but we were about halfway, so it's good to get it on the ground and get, you know, use it. It means we're obviously going to be using less solid fertilizer, which helps. But yeah, plenty still to do. We've got to get this soybeans in the ground in April time. We've got to finish off the fertilizer in that field, and then we'll have to just do weeding on this. But I think apart from that, we'll just be cutting silage, making some silage to sell. There isn't really much else to focus on. Get the fertilizer finished up on all these grass fields, do some mowing, do some silage, do some hay as well, and obviously focus on the two crops that we're doing. But I think that's a good point for me to end the episode on. So thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up because that does help my channel out. And if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator.